All right, it's an hour with the cardiologist, and we're going to be starting in a few minutes from now. Feel free to invite others, and we're also live on YouTube. So while we're waiting, can you just, you know, if you don't mind, just post on the chat box where you are listening from: Lagos, Abuja, Rivers State, UK, US, Canada, Australia, wherever you are listening from. If you don't mind, you don't need to write your name. Just put it on the chat box. We want to have an idea. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just let's have an idea of where you're listening from. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much. In a few minutes from now, we will. It's another time of an hour with the cardiologist. And I'm sure that it will be a worthwhile session. We're live on YouTube as well. In about a minute from now, we will start. We're just trying to wait for those who are trying to come in. We're trying to log in. Just as I said before, when we finish, we'll give time for questions, answers, question and answer interactive session. You can do well to raise up your electronic hand and the host will unmute you. The other way to go about it is to send your question via chat. And we will, as much as possible, answer your question. All right. All right, I'm not alone, and I want to welcome everyone to this meeting today. It's another time to have this interactive session. You're welcome to an hour with the cardiologist, this 31st day of August 2025. I believe it's going to be another informative and interactive session. I'm not alone. I have other cardiologists on board. Dr. Bailey is around. Thank you, Dr. Bailey, for joining. Dr. Adekolade, I think, is around or trying to join. Dr. Akeredolu should join us anytime from now as well. I'm sure it's going to be a very, very, enlightening session as usual. And it will be worth the while. Okay. Fine. So once again, you're welcome. We're going to start. Others that are trying to join will, have to catch up with us. All right. So we're looking at hypertension beyond the numbers, part 3. We've looked at part 1 and part 2. The recordings are on YouTube. You can, use the link, all right, to search for it. All right. And then when we finish, we'll also post it on the WhatsApp page. So if you're not on the WhatsApp, you can chat, private chat the number that will be, sent to the chat box. Chat the number later, and then they can add you to the WhatsApp group. By so doing, you will get, relevant things from us, information, we share knowledge and things like that. All right. So I'm Dr. Akinsan Olusegun Joseph, and I have other cardiologists here with me, like I said. Dr. Obieli, Dr. Akeredolu, Dr. Donye. It is a bit busy for today, but I'm sure he will join us later on. Um, so, hypertension beyond the numbers, part 3. We've looked at introduction, risk factors behind the numbers, clinical features of hypertension, companions of hypertension, complications of hypertension. We looked at those ones in the first two, parts. Today, we're looking at control of hypertension. All right. So how do we and how can we control hypertension? Okay. And we'll be looking at two major ways. There are two major ways by which hypertension can be managed or controlled, as the case may be. All right. Non-pharmacological management and pharmacological management. Apologies to those who are joining us for the first time today. You may need to go through the other ones we've done. We will post them. We will send the links to us. All right. And then maybe before we even end this session, our host will try to get the links for the part 1 and 2 and post so that you can copy, and on your own you can go ahead and listen. All right. We've defined hypertension. We've done quite a lot. Today we are looking at the control, non-pharmacological management and pharmacological management. Those are the two major ways by which hypertension is controlled, all right, or managed. Okay. However, for today, we will be looking at non-pharmacological management alone. Next month, we will do part 4, and that time we will look at the pharmacological management. So, what are the goals of management? Number 1, to control the blood pressure. Number 2, to prevent hypertension-mediated organ damage. All right, so hypertension is not just about numbers. It's not just the fact that your blood pressure is 140 over 95 or 150 over 90 or 160 over 110. It's about the fact that behind that, complications coming if not well managed. So the goal of management, one of the goals of management is to prevent hypertension-mediated organ damage. And we talked about it in the last session, things like stroke, heart attack, heart failure, kidney failure, and the rest. You know, Bleeding into the eyes, what we call, retinopathy, even before the bleeding, a lot of things, affecting the eyes and making the eyes to lose sight gradually. A lot of things happen. All right. It can also affect the limbs and cause what we call peripheral arterial disease. So all of this can happen. All right. So we want to prevent hypertension mediated organ damage. We want to treat other cardiovascular disease risk factors. Hypertension does not work alone. We talked about that during the last session. You may need to listen to it. All right. Hypertension does not work alone. Usually it's with other companions. All right. Diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, and the rest. So we want to also treat other cardiovascular disease risk factors because they also impact on quality of life and they can impact on overall well-being. To prevent cardiovascular events, all right, the strokes, the heart failure, the heart attacks, we want to prevent all of those. All right, and then to protect the vital organs. If the blood pressure is well controlled, the heart will, remain healthy, the kidneys will remain healthy, the brain will remain healthy because they will be well protected from the deleterious effects of hypertension. That is very important. So those are the goals. To halt the progression of hypertension. Hypertension, if not controlled, can cause hypertension-mediated organ damage. And it can start from very, very small, process, as small as enlargement of the heart, what we call cardiomegaly. All right. In the kidneys, the kidney can begin to leak protein, albuminuria. All right. The eyes may not be able to see well. The retina may become damaged, retinopathy, and then atherosclerosis may come in, and it can also affect the limbs, cause peripheral arterial disease in the blood supply to the heart. It can cause coronary artery disease, and that on its own will cause or can cause heart attack. It can cause sudden death as well. It can cause heart failure. So these are things that we want to halt, and then if not dealt with, cardiovascular events occur. Stroke, heart failure, heart attack, kidney failure, sudden death, blindness, and all the rest. Okay, this can occur. All of these are possible. That's why we said hypertension beyond the numbers. We're not just looking at the numbers, we are looking at the organs, we are looking at everything. We want to make sure that every part of the system, every part of the body, everything in totality is well taken care of. So non-pharmacological management is what we'll be looking at today. All right. And then the first we'll look at is effective lifestyle modification. All right. And let's just quickly go through these. Effective lifestyle modification. Number one, physical activity. All right. When you engage in regular aerobic physical activity, brisk walking, jogging, skipping, aerobics and things like that for at least 30 minutes per day for most days, the blood pressure can be reduced as much as 4 to 9 millimeter mercury. All right, systolic. And then for diastolic, as much as 2 to 3, even 4 millimeter mercury. So that is very, very important. All right. I mean, somebody who is always having 140, 145, by the time you remove 9, all right, that would have brought it below 140 and, lead towards good control. Dash eating dietary approach to stopping hypertension. The plan: consume diet rich in fruits, vegetables, low fats, dairy products. You consume less of them and take more fruits and vegetables. It will reduce the blood pressure by as much as 8 to 14 millimeter mercury. That is huge. All right. So even without much stress, if you go on this, you can achieve some form of blood pressure reduction. That's what we're talking about. All right. Dietary sodium restriction: reduce sodium intake to max of 100 millimole per day. It will reduce the blood pressure by 2 to 8 millimeter mercury. By the time you add all of this together, we're already getting to more than 20. 8 plus 14 plus 9. Okay, that's already more than 30. Okay, millimeter mercury. So somebody whose blood pressure has been hovering around 150 over 90, by the time you remove 30 millimeter mercury from it, that's already 120. That's a good blood pressure range. That's a good blood pressure reading. And by the time you remove another 10 from the diastolic, maybe he's doing something like 95, you remove 10 from it. As a result of this lifestyle modification, that will land the person in 85. That's not bad at all. So that's what we're talking about. That it's not just all about taking the drugs, but lifestyle changes, lifestyle modification can do a lot. Moderate alcohol consumption: limit daily consumption to max of 1 drink for women and then 2 for men, will reduce the blood pressure by 2 to 4. Now, if it is completely, eradicated, if alcohol is stopped, it reduces, blood pressure by as much as 5 to 7 millimeter mercury. That is huge as well. So, there are gains in lifestyle changes. Weight loss: maintain normal body weight. Okay, between body mass index between 18.5 to 24.9. In the previous studies, in the previous sessions, we looked at the how to calculate body mass index. Those who may be joining for the first time, weight divided by height squared. So if your weight is 50 kilogram, all right, 50 kilogram divided by your height divided by your height. All right. So let's assume your weight is 60 kg and your height is 1.69 meters. All right. So 60 divided by 1.69 divided by another 1.69. That will give you your body mass index. If you can maintain body mass index of this, all right, it reduces blood pressure. So for every 5 to 20, um, for every 10 kilogram reduction in weight, the blood pressure drops as much as 5 to 20 millimeter mercury. That's why those who lose weight, sometimes their blood pressure their drug requirement drops. Just losing weight alone will help in addressing blood pressure issues. Can reduce the blood pressure by up to 20 millimeter mercury. That is huge. All right. Sometimes just shedding weight alone can move the person from hypertension to normal tension. Okay, so that is also very important. Stress reduction, practice a stress reduction modality. All right, that can reduce it by 5 millimeter mercury, and then incorporate cessation modality. So tobacco cessation, if you can stop, smoking. If you smoke, that will just in 1 week. After 1 week, all right, blood pressure reduction is as much as 4 millimeter mercury. By the time you add all of this together, all right, the chances of having a good control is very, very high. So but I mean, there must be that discipline, there must be that desire that I am going to do this. Yes, I know that it can be tough, but then you can start small. I mean, just like I saw a patient, was it last week, and by the time we calculated the ideal body weight, all right, that will bring him down to 24.9 kg per meter squared of body mass index. I mean, is to lose about 33 kilogram. I have to tell him, don't worry, you will not get there one day, but we can work together. If you can lose 1 kg per week, let's assume you can lose 1 kg per week, then in 4 weeks, in 1 month, you would have lost 4 kg. And if we go like that, if you are able to be consistent, then you will get there. So I first told him, okay, you are 130 something now, let's target 110. Okay, between this time and this time. And then when we get there, we celebrate the gains and then we move on. All right. And then I told him, if you are well motivated, you can lose 2 kg per week. And if you lose 2 kg per week in a month, you lose 8 kg, and then we can work on and on like that. So I know it can be tough, but these things are achievable. Okay. So, lifestyle modification, very, very important. So, reduction of salt intake, we've talked about that. And I mean, when we talk of salt intake, there's something, something that wants to hide somehow. Sometimes people go, especially the elderly, they go for a function and with a serving thing, they say, oh, no, I don't want Coke. I don't want, this and that. Give me soda water. Soda water is filled with salt. Please, just to let you know that if you say, oh, I don't want this, I don't want this, just give me soda water, you are simply taking salt in water. So please, if you can stop that, that will be very, very good. Reduce consumption of processed meat, reduce intake of fat and cholesterol rich food, exercise regularly. We've talked about that. Smoking cessation is very, very important. We've talked about that as well. So that is very important. Eat less salt. All right. Reduce your salt consumption. Very, very important. We are not saying no salt. We are saying low salt. LOW, not NO. And when we say low salt, it also includes the spices. So, I mean, there was a time, I mean, an elderly woman walked into my consulting room and said, doctor, how are you? This and that, we exchanged pleasantries and all of that. And, as I was asking her questions, she said, doctor, I've stopped, I don't take salt at all. In short, I have stopped it completely. I only put Maggi in my food now. I put enough Maggi, but salt, I don't take it anymore. I had to tell her that, Mama, so the Maggi you're talking about, okay, it's good that you tried in your way to reduce salt, but that Maggi is also salt, all right, that you need to reduce it. And we're not saying no salt, we're saying low salt, and it includes the condiment, the salty condiments as well. So we need to be aware of this. All right. Dietary salt intake reduction will do some of these things for us. Number one, it will reduce the risk of developing hypertension if you are not hypertensive. All right. You will, with reduction in salt intake, your risk of developing hypertension reduces greatly. All right. It delays or prevent the commencement of antihypertensive therapy for those who are hovering around 140, 145, and things like that. Okay, or 135, and then occasionally it shoots up to 140 and things like that. If you can reduce your salt intake, it can drive the numbers down. All right. It facilitates blood pressure reduction in hypertensive patients receiving medical therapy. So when you reduce your salt intake, if you're taking drugs, what it does is that it will reduce, it can help, your drugs to be more effective. All right. So increased salt intake can, make the action of the drugs to be, be as much as, reduce the potency of the drugs, the target that we're looking for. It can reduce it because salt is very, very powerful, especially in blacks. Our vascular system are very much salt sensitive. All right. So reduce salt intake. It can reduce, the number of drugs you may need to take, the dosages of the antihypertensive, drugs that you may need to take. It may represent a simple cost-saving mediator to reduce cardiovascular morbidity and mortality. Very, very important. So, we need to know that. All right. Increase your intake of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and nuts. Limit intake of sweets, sugar, sweetened beverages. So we need to cut down on the sodas, the soft drinks, the sodas. Take more of water, very good, or healthy beverages. You can replace the sodas with healthy beverages. Okay, so cocoa drink is good. Dark chocolate, cocoa drink is very good. All right, green tea is good. And a lot of other rich beverages, smoothies. You can make smoothies from fruits and vegetables. Right? We talk of Five Alive. I tell my patients that you can make Five Alive. Five Alive are just five fruits. Got brought together and blended. All right. And they say, oh, this is Five Alive because it contains five, different kind of fruits. You in your own house can make Five Alive. You can make 10 alive. You can make 20 alive. Any alive you want, you can make it. All right. Simply by getting the fruits. I mean, if you get pawpaw, watermelon, banana, beetroots, and so many of them like that. Okay, carrots, cucumber, and you blend them together. I've mentioned more than five, fruits. All right, and that will help instead of the sweetened, sodas. Of course, if you are diabetic, you may need to be very, very, extremely selective. with what you choose, the kind of fruits you take, so that your blood sugar does not go overboard. All right, dark chocolate is good for your heart. Aim for a healthy weight. All right. How do you, get a healthy weight? How will you be able to determine which weight is healthy and ideal for you? Now, if we are looking at a BMI of 24.9, BMI is body mass index. All right. BMI of 24.9. So what you will do to get your ideal weight that will give you that BMI of 24.9 is to multiply your height twice. Okay. To multiply the BMI, that 24.9, by your height twice. So BMI times height squared. So for example, your BMI is 24.9. You're looking for a 24.9 BMI, okay? And your height is 1.69. So 24.9 times 1.69 times 1.69, that will be your ideal weight. So whatever, if you are above that, that may be what you need to shed. Whatever is above may be what you need to shed. All right? So aim for a healthy weight. And we try to emphasize this: fruits, vegetables, all grains, food, sources of protein, more of of plant proteins, okay, and then liquid plant oils, soybeans oil, canola oil, olive oil, the oils that if you put them on the table, they will not solidify. Those are good, healthy oils. And then let's minimize this: beverages and foods with added sugars, ultra processed food, all right, processed meats, food high in salt, alcoholic beverages, tropic oils. We need to reduce them. Let's invest more in the food on the left side. Okay, the things on the left side. You can see the scale. All right. Carrots, grapes, and the rest of them. These are uh healthy meals. All right, you are what you eat. Okay, if you want to lose weight, we need to get rid of these excesses. Okay, the cheese, the red meats and co. We need to cut them down seriously. All right. Invest more in fruits and vegetables. Not that you cannot take, meat, lean meat. Yes. You can take fish. Because some people, if we don't eat meat, what do we do? You can take fish. You can take chicken, remove the skin. All right. These are things that will help. And then you can seal them, man, with water. It's not every time, as much as possible, cut down on sodas. That will be very, very helpful. Okay, so take a break when necessary is also important. All right, having a time of vacation is good. Take a break, that will reduce your stress level and reduce, a lot of stress hormones that can push your blood pressure up. So take a break when necessary. All right. Uh, it's not every time that we just need to walk, 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 walk. No, take a break when necessary. Deal with negative emotions. Negative emotions have a way of releasing chemicals into the body that can increase blood pressure. Not only increase blood pressure, they can damage the organs directly. All right. So as much as possible, create room for positive emotions. Deal with negative emotions. Stress management is very important. Cultivate positive emotions. We've talked about that. Be cheerful and make room for humor. All right. Sometimes you may just things that will lighten up light up your emotions. Get engaged in it and interact with people where the things that can lift your mood. All right, get involved in such things regularly, and if you can avoid things that can dampen your morale, dampen your emotions, that can serve as negative energy for you, avoid them as much as possible. That will really help. Reduce or stop alcohol and energy drink intake. We've talked about that. Reduce exposure to pollutants as much as possible. Noise pollution. Mm, I want to tell you that noise pollution is real in our world, is increasing, but it's not a good thing at all. Noise pollution can increase your blood pressure. There's a science around it. Okay, it can increase your blood pressure as much as possible. Control the volume of the things you listen to. Very important. And when you go for outing, yeah, I mean, we're social beings. We may not be able to avoid outings. Don't stay close to the loudspeaker. As much as possible, stay, far away from it. Okay, noise pollution, environmental pollution, um, fumes and dust, this era of generator here and there. Avoid inhaling any of those fumes, please. If you can, as much as possible, that will help, because those things also have a way of impacting on our system, and they can trigger the blood pressure to go up. Let's look at exercise a little bit more. So regular physical exercise helps to prevent and treat, number one, heart diseases, stroke, diabetes. If you exercise regularly, your blood sugar will come down. All right, it can help in the management of hypertension. We've talked about it. Can reduce blood pressure by as much as 8 millimeter mercury. So we've talked about it. It can help to deal with overweight and obesity, and it can improve mental health, quality of life. It can lift up your mood. It can make you feel stronger. Exercise affects almost every part of the body. And the mistake many people make, especially those who are slim, is that, why do I need to exercise? I'm not fat. I don't need it. If I start exercising, I'll start losing weight. No, exercise is not all about losing weight alone. There are a lot of things that it can do. It can reduce your blood pressure, like we said, if you're hypertensive. It can help to reduce, the risk of developing diabetes. And if you're diabetic, it can help in the control of your blood sugar, can reduce the risk of developing stroke and heart disease. All right, takes only 30 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity, 5 days per week, to improve and maintain your health. And if you say, because some people will say that, oh, I don't have time for it, my time is so choked, I cannot, set apart 30 minutes, then you can do something. Your step count, you can increase your step count. Okay, before we used to know that, okay, 10,000 steps are, adequate, okay, to maintain good health. But it's, recent studies have even brought it down that, if you can achieve 8,000, that's good for those who are not, given to uh, very strenuous activities. 8,000 steps can help. 8,000 is not small, but you can achieve it. All right. And then the remaining part of this talk, I will just address how we can increase our step count, how we can, move ahead in terms of, exercise. But before then, let's look at other health benefits of exercise, physical activity. Number one, it reduces dementia by 30%. Dementia is, progressive loss of cognitive functions. This person cannot reason the way he used to reason before, begins to do things that, you just be you know, uh, um, you become very, very uncomfortable with. I mean, the person can deteriorate so much that they will not be able to know the difference of where he needs to, ease himself and things like that. And judgment will be impaired, intelligence will be greatly impaired, and things like that. I mean, it's not a good thing at all. All right. It's common in the elderly, but that you are elderly does not mean that you need to have dementia. Okay, so it reduces the risk of dementia. All cause mortality is reduced by 30%. It reduces hip fracture by 68%. That is huge. Reduces depression. We've talked about the fact that exercise, and physical activity lights up the mood. All right, so it reduces depression by 30%. Cardiovascular disease reduction of up to 35%, type 2 diabetes of up to 40%, colon cancer of up to 30%, breast cancer of up to 20%. So exercise is not all about just trying to lose weight. No, you can achieve a lot from exercising with exercising. All right. So it increases the quality of sleep, increases the good cholesterol, HDL, high density lipoprotein. That's the good cholesterol. If you exercise regularly, your good cholesterol will increase. When this increases, the risk of stroke is reduced, the risk of heart attack is reduced. It reduces blood pressure, it reduces inflammation, reduces body weight stress. All right. It increases the sensitivity of your body to insulin. And when that happens, the chances of developing diabetes is greatly, greatly reduced. So this is very important. So let's look at this staircase approach. All right. So sit less. All right. As much as possible, sit less. So let me just give us few scenarios. You get to the office, you're so busy, you get to office by 8 or 9 or 9:30 or 10, anytime you resume. And from that time till closing hours, you are by your desk just trying to sort things out. All right. I mean, if you are IT specialist, you try to do so much. You are a banker, you try to sort out people's issues. You are a doctor, you are attending to patients, you are seated. Yes, sometimes you get up to examine the patient. Whatever um area of discipline you're in, okay, the chances of sitting more is there. All right, you're a trader, you sit in your place, maybe your supermarket or your boutique from morning till evening. If you don't walk around, that will not help. So sit less. All right, stand up, move around, try and move. If you are in the office and all you do is to walk and walk and walk, after an hour or two, let's say 2 hours, if you cannot afford to get up every hour, after 2 hours, get up, walk around. Even if it's just for 10 minutes in your office, you can pace up and down, just walk. That will help you. Instead of taking the elevator, take the staircase. That will improve, that will increase your step count. You can park far away from your office and walk the rest into the office. Refuse to take the elevator if you can, and then take the staircase. That will increase your step count, and it will increase your level of physical activity. All right. I talk about you know walk as you talk. So if you receive phone call, for example, and the call is to last for 5 minutes, if once you pick up that phone, you stand up and start walking, you would have walked for 5 minutes. And sometimes conversation go on as much as 10 minutes. As you can imagine, if you use all those 10 minutes to walk around. So let each call be a walking call if possible. Get up from your sitting position and walk. You don't say, I don't have time to exercise. That is enough. If you're going to talk for 10 minutes, you're walking for 10 minutes. If another call comes in for 2 minutes, you walk. Another one comes in for 3 minutes, you walk. By the time you sum up everything together, you would have walked for 20, 25, 30 minutes. And some people even have very lengthy conversation. All right. Sit less. Do more of moving around. All right. While you're waiting for your food to cook, in the night while you're cooking your dinner, or while you're waiting for dinner to be ready, instead of just sitting and watching, even if you want to watch the TV or you want to do something, you can walk around. All right. If you want to work on your system, take time to walk around first. Be conscious, be intentional about it. Okay. If you do that, your cardiovascular fitness will increase, will improve. All right. These are you know activities that we can bring in. All right. And merge with physical activity that will not take your time unduly. You are on the phone and you are walking. I mean, that's good. You don't need to create another time for exercise. You're already doing it. So walk while you talk. Okay. That's very, very good. You want to have a time with a friend, you can decide to take a walk together. All right. And that will help your step count, help your physical activity. As much as possible, move. Sit less, move more. Sit less, move more. That will help. All right. Exercise is very, 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 very cheap. It's you don't need much, you don't need to pay for it. If you want to go to the gym, it's okay, but you don't need to go to the gym for you to exercise. You can do it in your office, you can do it in your living room, you can do it anywhere. Very, very, and it is cheap, it is very, very healthy. So let's engage in it. That can help to bring down not just the numbers, but it can help to improve the health of your organs. That's why we said hypertension beyond the numbers. All right. Very, very important. Um, it's about 43 minutes after 7 now. I'm going to stop here today so that we can give room for questions, interactions, clarifications, things that we may need to, just react to. So that it's not just talk, talk, talk. The next time, that will be next month, we will be looking at the pharmacological management of hypertension. And what we'll be looking at, in that particular um, episode is much more about, how to improve drug adherence, because drug adherence, is a major issue. Okay, there are people that cannot, take their drugs, at a stretch for 1 week. Okay, and so many myths around blood pressure, and drugs. So we'll be looking at that next month. So let's stop here for today. Thanks for listening. God bless you. So we will, for the rest of the time we have, we will give room for questions, clarifications, and such like. So if you have questions, please, you can raise up your electronic hand, or you can drop it on the chat box. But before we do that, host, can you help me unmute Dr. Obieli? She may just want to, chip in one or two things as a wrap up of what I've shared, and then unmute Dr. Adekolade as well. Adekolade signed in as Ayodeji Stevens, so you can unmute him as well.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Doc.
Everyone.
Well done. Thank you very much. Well done. So
sir,
you have the floor.
yes, thank you very much, sir. So you've said everything already. Everything already. Now, non-pharmacological management of hypertension borders more on lifestyle modification, and you've already outlined everything that needs to be said. So I don't really have anything further to add, except maybe if they have questions, and then I'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you. Dr. Adekolade.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Doc.
Yeah. Thank you for a wonderful session. It's been a wonderful time, and the management of the blood pressure beyond the numbers, non-pharmacological aspect of it cannot be overemphasized. And then, just like the usual say, you are what you eat and you are what you drink. Lifestyle alone goes a long way to reduce. You have just mentioned it all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. So we'll give room for questions now. If you have questions, you can raise your electronic hand. Dr. Akeredolu, if you are signed in with a different name, you can raise your electronic hand as well, so that you can be given the opportunity to talk, to just, join the discourse. So if you have questions, please raise your electronic and you will be given the opportunity to unmute, and then you can ask your question. You have questions, raise your electronic hand, and then you'll be given an opportunity to unmute. Okay, I'm not sure I can see any hand up. So, okay, but there are questions in the chat box. Okay. Is it possible to reverse hypertension and no longer be drug dependent with lifestyle changes? Dr. Billy, can you help with that? Host, help me unmute Dr. Billy.
Hello, sir. Sorry, please, sir. Can you come again, sir, with the question? Because I can't find it on the chat.
Is it possible to reverse hypertension and no longer be drug dependent with lifestyle changes?
Yes, it is possible to reverse hypertension. Yes, it is possible to reverse hypertension in that your blood pressure will be well controlled, that you may have to now de-escalate and reduce the number of drugs. At a point, you may be off medication, but you have also to be monitored, followed up closely. Again, lifestyle modification is a continuous thing. So it's something that you have to continually doing. So you can't stay off lifestyle modification, but yes, it is possible to be off medications for hypertension. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's possible, but you have got to do the work. All right. And like she said, check your blood pressure. Make sure you keep checking. All right. Very, very important. Okay. But if your blood pressure is, eating the roof like 190, 120, 170, 110, and things like that, and you're already using 3, 4 drugs, you need a lot of monitoring. Most times, those who are able to come off it are those who have mild, what we call mild hypertension, and who are extremely well driven with regards to lifestyle modification. Thank you very much, Dr. Billy. Is it possible? Okay, it's the same thing. Is it possible to be off drugs? That's what it does. Hypertension lead to erectile dysfunction in males, and what are the possible ways to control it? All right, that was one of the things of the last time, but no problem. That's one of the uh hypertension mediated organ dysfunction, or that organ damage that we're talking about. Dr. Adekolade, can you help us? Does hypertension lead to erectile dysfunction in male, and what are the possible ways to control it? I'm not sure we can hear you. Okay, maybe network issues there. So yes, hypertension can lead to erectile dysfunction. And not alone, hypertension with dyslipidemia, cholesterol being high and things like that. Uncontrolled hypertension can definitely lead to erectile dysfunction, and it can damage it progressively. And that's why sometimes when men come, which can be a very major issue, they are worried about erectile function and the blood pressure is in the sky. The first thing I'd say is let's control this blood pressure first, because it is a major contributor to erectile dysfunction. All right. How can it be controlled? If you control the blood pressure, if you optimize your lifestyle, changes that we just talked about now, the erectile function will improve. All right. Exercise improves erectile function very, very much. All right. As more than 10 to 20% increase. And if you exercise regularly, it gets better. All right. So erectile function, lifestyle changes, you can sort it out in to a very large extent. All right. Reduce your salt intake, reduce intake of processed meats, fried things, what do you call them now? Fried things, fast food, and the rest. It will reduce, erectile dysfunction. Okay. If you are obese, if you can lose weight, it will impact on your erectile function. Okay, so lifestyle change is extremely good in terms of erectile function, uh, uh, erectile function enhancement. Okay, dealing with erectile dysfunction. All right. And, if you talk with your doctor, it can, help out. And if you need the services of a cardiologist, you may, reach out and then we'll be able to help. If you have a cardiologist, you can reach out to the person. He or she will be able to also, help you. To what extent is the local drink Zobo and other likes of it as substitute for the drugs? Would you recommend this and in what dosage? Dr. Billy, you want to help us with that? To what
Hello, sir.
extent
Sorry.
yeah. To
Sorry,
what
sir.
extent
Okay.
to what extent is the local drink Zobo and other likes of it a good substitute for the drugs? Would you recommend this and in what dosage?
Okay, now, in as much as Zobo has been recommended as a herbal drink and that it's good, the hibiscus flower is very good with the fruit. Some people add pineapple and all that to it. So there hasn't been any proven benefit. It hasn't been proven to actually reduce the blood pressure, unlike the way the medications will reduce the blood pressure. So my advice, please don't substitute Zobo for your medications. You have to take your medication. And again, even if you want to use that as a way to control your blood pressure, we don't know what dose to control. And it hasn't been actually proven that Zobo can actually reduce the blood pressure. So what has been proven to actually help a reduction in the blood pressure is lifestyle modification, as has been emphasized, reduction in the weight, quitting alcohol, smoking, and all those things. Those are the things that have been of proven benefits. And then also reduction in salt in your meals. There have been proven benefits to reduce blood pressure to a large extent. But however, Zobo, not to my knowledge, has not been proven scientifically to reduce blood pressure. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Doc. Yes, there are few to I quite agree with what you said, but there are few, the world of internet and Google and the rest. There are few materials that have come out to talk about hibiscus flower, Zobo, reducing blood pressure by, with the aid of some form of dilatation of the blood vessels. But what you said, which is very, very germane, is that it's just a mild, if it's going to do it at all, it's a very mild reduction, and then we can't give you a dose. All right, and it cannot replace your drugs. Please, people make that mistake. They say, I just want to go natural. We're not saying you shouldn't. All the things we've talked about with regards to lifestyle modification, they are natural things. So we are not against, being natural, but we are saying that you need to do it in a way that will not put your system in at a risk. All right. Zobo, ginger, garlic, and all of those things that people, talk about. What's the other one? Moringa and co. They can have a bit of, impact on blood pressure, but they will not control your blood pressure as much, as and then as much as the drugs will. Number one, and then a number of people will leave their jobs. I mean, subscribe to these things, take them, and before you know it, I mean, we have cases. And trust me, if we say we have cases, we're not fabricating. I mean, you've had Dr. Billy, and if you can ask any other cardiologist, they'll tell you the same thing. Those who replace their drugs with these things, they end up coming back to the emergency with complications of hypertension, stroke, heart attack, heart failure. By that time is, the deed has been done. And the people that they introduce them to such things, the best they can do is come and visit them in the hospital and say, hey, sorry, sorry, sorry. So please go with what is proven. All right, very important. I hope that answers your question. I've started exercising. My blood pressure dropped from 141 to over 90 to about 138 to 76, and now 117 to 75. Thank you very much for that. Life, life, practical life testimony of what exercise can do. From 141 over 90, now 117 over 75. That's very good. Thank you, Mr. Shea Campbell. Thank you for that. All right. But please keep checking your blood pressure. But it fluctuates sometimes, and first reading is high, and subsequent ones come down to 128.82. Hello, please. What are the food needed for an hypertensive patient? Dr. Adekolade, are you back? What are the food
Yes,
needed
sir.
for hypertensive patients? Okay. Once you finish, to help us unmute number 96799 something something. The number that the hand is raised there. All right. Thank you for your patience. The person whose hand is raised, we will get to you in a few minutes. Okay, so Dr. Adekolade, please help us with that question.
So, good evening. Thank you, sir. Just like you said in one of the slides, you talked about the Mediterranean diet, high fiber diet, fruit, vegetables, legumes, and all that. And as much as you want to cut down the carbs as much as possible, even though you need the carbs, you need the energy, you need the calorie, the proteins too, everything in sizable amounts. But most importantly, Mediterranean diet, talk about the DAS diet, low calorie, and then you want to do more of a unsaturated fat, not the fatty food. Like if you are eating the chicken, just like Oga said, the skin has to be healthy. And then if you must take fish, you take this, it has to be the scaly ones. And then more of a limit, reduce red meat too.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get to the. Oh, Scandi, help us unmute the person raising the hand. Then after that, we'll get back to the chat box to take the remaining questions. Yeah, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Good afternoon. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
I really appreciate the privilege of being in this kind of meeting. Please, I would like to. My mom was she was down with stroke, but I thank God for life. She's able to move now. The hand also is able to raise it up bit by bit. It's better than before. This was someone that was willed to loot, and we with her back home, but with some care she has gotten up now, and I'm able to control her blood pressure. But I need something. I need to know, like, what diet can she eat? Like the good diet, a diet that you can prescribe for someone that want to make 100% recovery from stroke.
Okay. If you have listened to what we have discussed, so that we don't keep going back and forth, it's the same.
I joined this meeting quite halfway.
Oh, we're going to post the recorded version, the YouTube version, on the platform. Please, host, help us post the link of the YouTube, so that people can get it, and then you for people like a gentleman here, you can go through it. But very quickly, Dr. Adekolade also mentioned it just before you asked your questions. Okay, things. Foods rich in vegetables, fruits, legumes. All right. These are things, nuts, groundnuts, cashew nuts, and the rest, cereals, not salted ones. All right. These are
Okay.
things that will help mama with, our blood pressure and, the overall um, uh, health of our vital organs. Okay,
All right,
very,
sir.
very important. Yeah, those are things that will really help. Let her cut down on salt. Let her cut down on fried things, processed food, processed meats. Let her cut
Okay.
down really, really much on those ones. That will help. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
I
The
really
rest you
appreciate
can.
it.
You're welcome, sir. Yeah,
How
Musa.
would I get the recorded version of the class?
I'm sure the link will be posted. It's been posted. If you go to the chat box, just copy that link. YouTube, Amazing Arts YouTube link. Just copy it. You can even join the live. We are live streaming on YouTube at the moment, so you can copy it. You can go through on your own later.
I
All right.
appreciate you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Help us. Host, help us to unmute Musa Alayonde.
Waiting in talk. Waiting in talk.
Yes. Relax. No.
Help us. Yeah.
Hello.
Can you mute the number? Host,
Hello,
mute.
good evening.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. More that I've been hearing eating of vegetables. I'm also someone that loves vegetables, but I do eat it with melon, egusi. I don't know
Okay.
to what extent will you recommend that? Is there
Yeah, egusi
anything?
is fine.
Okay,
Egusi is fine. Melon is good. Very good.
okay,
So
because
yeah.
it also has oil itself. I don't know if it will have any effect.
No, that's plant oil. It's good.
Okay,
It's not the saturated oil that we're talking about. It's plant oil. It's very good.
okay. Then what's the name on YouTube? The name of this program or the
Just go
YouTube?
to chat box. It's an hour with the cardiologist.
Okay,
If
an
you
hour with
yes, an hour with the cardiologist, it will bring it out. But if you look at the chat box now, it's been posted twice. Okay, so you can copy it and then you get you can listen later on your own.
Okay, I want to
Um,
number. So I think I'll record the number
what's it?
as I'll copy the number so that I can add it to the WhatsApp group.
Okay, the host will post the number as well now, so you can chat the number up, and then they will add you to the WhatsApp group, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. I find my blood pressure measurement at times getting normal for some time, so that period I stop using my drugs until I notice again an increase. Is this a right thing to do? That is next. Is during the next edition we're going to deal with this, but since you have asked the question, maybe we'll just quickly address it. Dr. Bailey, can you help us with this, please? This person stops taking the antihypertensive when the blood pressure is normal, and when the blood pressure begins to go up, he or she starts taking the drugs again. Host, can you help me unmute Dr. Bailey?
Okay,
I
sir.
guess
I was waiting to be unmuted.
okay. All right.
Okay. With regards to the question, now, in as much as your blood pressure has returned to normal with the medication and the lifestyle changes, it's never advisable to go off your medication. So you must always be on your medication, except your doctor tells you otherwise. So that's why you need to go for regular checkup. But you should never stay off your medication, except you are experiencing some side effects like very low blood pressure, which your doctor should advise you about. So now most times the reason why your blood pressure is normal is because of the medication, because some of those medications have a very long duration of action. Like for example, amlodipine. Amlodipine has a duration of action of more than 48 hours. So it's kind of like a forgiving drug. So most likely that's what has been working throughout that period, that your blood pressure is fine. So by the time you stop it for a while, your blood pressure starts coming up again. And again, you're at risk of having a very high blood pressure and then coming with emergencies. So it's always advisable not to stay away from your medication. Please always take your medication, except you're advised otherwise by your doctor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer. So it's been sorted out. Please take your drugs. It's not a good practice, and that's one of the things that lead to complications. Thanks always, doctor. I am just curious to know that if someone has a good blood pressure, usually around 117/85, with blood sugar around 85%, can such an individual still suffer from cardiac arrest? Or better still, what causes cardiac arrest? All right, thank you. Okay. Our time is fast spent, is after 8. Let me just quickly rush this, and then we will, with this question, we will post we've dealt with this, we've dealt with sudden death, something close to this. So we will post it on the WhatsApp group, that particular episode, so that you can go through it on your own. But yes, somebody can still come down with cardiac arrest. Depends on the cardiovascular risk factor of that person. Yes, it's good that the blood pressure is fine. It's good that the blood sugar is fine, but those are not the only things that can expose someone to cardiac arrest or expose somebody to cardiovascular disease complications. Okay, if the heart is not beating regularly, all right, it's possible to suffer a cardiac arrest. If there is what we call heart muscle disease, okay, cardiomyopathy, it's possible to come down with that, okay, cardiac arrest, and so many other causes, all right, which I won't want to go into now because that's not really the focus of our discussion. But suffice to know that yes, controlling your blood pressure, blood sugar is fine, but those are not the only things. If somebody is a chronic smoker, for example, all right, is at risk of having cardiac arrest, okay, and such likes, okay. So very important. Or recreational drugs, those that engage in taking recreational drugs, they are at risk of coming down with with cardiac arrest. I hope that answers your question. For further issues on it, we will post particular uh, that particular episode, and I'm sure that you will be able to get more things from that. Thank you very much. I think we will stop here. I can't see any other question, and I cannot see another person raising the hand, his or her hand. So at this point, I want to say thank you very much to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Bailey, for your expertise, and thank you, Dr. Adekolade. Thank you, everyone, for being patient and listening with rapt attention. Thank you to those who ask questions and those who, who just, try to make sure that everything remain very, very calm for us. We appreciate you. Thank you, everyone. If you have gotten value, you can just type something on the chat box. All right. You've gotten value. You've been impacted some in one way or the other. You can just type. Let's be sure that it has not been a wasted time. All right. Thank you very much. So we will have the next edition next month. We will announce the time that will come up. If you are not yet on the WhatsApp group, you can copy the numbers and private chat any of those numbers. They will add it to the WhatsApp group. And please, we will not call you for anything. We won't tell you that, oh, there will be a meeting today or tomorrow. No, we don't do that. Those are scammers. Please, we will always bring out our flyer. We will publicize on the WhatsApp group. We will not call you privately, please. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and have a lovely week ahead. Thank you.